Hello, everybody. We are trying this on Zoom. Hi, Ian. We're trying this on Zoom, seeing how this works. We're coming to you live from Facebook every Wednesday night at 5:40 to 7 o'clock. 6:40. Nope. 5:40, 6 o'clock. I had it right the first. We're just going to have a great time tonight talking with the talk notes and diving deeper into what the message was about. And we're so glad you guys are here. Ian, I'm excited to talk through talk notes with you tonight.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Yes, I'm back. I'm here.
That's right.
I was here yesterday, just not on video.
Exactly. Last week we missed you.
Yes.
Well, do you want to give us an overview of what the message was about and all of that good stuff?
All right. So the title of Sunday's message was Following Jesus in Today's World. So, and of course, that was our Pastor Joakim. Again, what a great speaker.
Yes.
So, one of the scriptures for the service was Matthew 4:18-20. And Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting their nets into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, "Follow me, I will make you fishers of men." They immediately left their nets and followed him. I think to me that's a big verse, big couple of verses, I guess, and them just dropping everything and following Jesus without even a hesitation is just amazing. I don't know what I would do in that situation, not knowing who Jesus was at the time, but just being asked to follow me and I will make you fishers of men, and just drop everything and go. It's just super, super powerful.
Yeah, like when you were reading that, it's just that image of, your livelihood is to fish, and then Jesus comes and says, drop everything and follow me. It's just like, whoa. Like, I don't know, would I be obedient to him and follow him and drop everything that I've ever known? Oh, it's a good challenge to think about.
It is. It's a huge challenge. And at the same time, I want to say I would drop everything and do it, but it's a tough one. Yes. I'm sure for you guys, that same thing, that thought, it would be a tough decision to make, but certainly it would be a rewarding decision for sure.
That's right.
Certainly being a follower, I know the changes and what God has done in my life, and seeing that, knowing that, makes it a lot easier to make that decision. So
that's right.
And Pastor Joakim also talked about the lost coins, the lost son, and the lost sheep as kind of the three main points in his message this past week. And so we'll dive into some of these questions with Justy, expanding a little further on kind of those 3 points.
Yes. So I'm really excited to go through these questions and just dive deeper. So the first one is, did you ever end up getting lost when you were a kid or a teenager? What happened?
I can't say I ever got lost. The only time I did physically get lost was I took the wrong exit on the 401 and I went exactly the wrong direction.
Oh no.
And I ended up, instead of being an hour to get home, I drove almost an hour the wrong direction before I realized something wasn't right. And stopped, called my dad and said, "Hey, this is kind of where I am. This is the exit number. Can you check a map and see where I am?"
Yep.
And sure enough, I had gone the wrong way. So had to turn around and drive an hour back to where I was, and then another hour to get home.
Oh, that's so crazy. I know, like, you almost feel, I don't know, not guilty, but like you feel kind of dumb when you choose, like when you go off on the wrong path or whatever. But thankfully we have people that will put us back on the right path.
Yes.
So
yeah.
thank goodness you had your dad to kind of direct you to be like, Ian, just go this way and then go this way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was certainly helpful. He's good with directions, so that made it a lot simpler to get myself back home.
Yep, definitely. Well, I think I've got lost a couple of times. I remember the one time I just hid from my mom. I didn't necessarily get lost, but you know how they have like in the stores they have circular clothing racks.
Yep. Yep.
I hid myself in the middle of it, and I hid there for a long time, and I could hear my mom like, Justy, 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 where'd you go? And yeah, so I chose to get lost, maybe to freak her out. I don't know. Maybe I was scared. I can't remember why I did that.
Yep.
But it's not really nice to scare people like that anyway. Like,
well, certainly not. No. I understand those clothes racks are kind of fun, especially when you're like young and you can jump in them, and yeah, it's almost like you're in a little room because you're in the center of it.
That's right.
I can see how that can be fun.
Yes. Okay. Sorry for this new way of doing things. I have another screen here that I can read your comments because we really do care about your comments. We have Eva and Dave as hosts, and they're doing a fantastic job. I'm just checking in here. Dave, you took a wrong trip and got lost in Detroit once. I'm sure that wasn't fun. Getting lost in a different country is no fun. Eva D. Fair, you got lost all the time, but you just call them adventures now. That's very positive thinking. Eva, you got lost driving somewhere in the country and your phone was on the verge of dying. That is always scary because it's like, how do I charge my phone? But maybe this is the lesson. Always bring a charger with you in your vehicle so that you don't get lost for too long. In Sarah's eyes, she doesn't get lost. Or like, she didn't get lost. She just decided, at the beach, she was just going to take a veer off from her following her mom. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure as a mom, that's scary. Well, question number 2 says, did the message change your understanding of what it means to follow Jesus? If so, how?
Ooh. I think for me, it was more not necessarily kind of changing my view.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the understanding of God and Jesus, it's a pretty set thing for me. So yeah, didn't for me change much. I'm sure for some people the message probably maybe change the way they view things, or maybe open their mind to maybe thinking about Jesus a little different. But for me, it's pretty the same.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. That means that you're in a good place, I think, to get challenged on how to follow God and to do that more diligently. I think the only thing for me that changed about my understanding is just a whole new perspective. So when he was talking about the Titanic and saying how this one guy was saying, if you don't know Jesus, like, accept him into your heart and you will be saved. Like that's a whole nother level of commitment to Jesus, because I don't know if it was the fact that he knew he was going to die or what that was, but like, he made it his point to reach those who were lost, regardless whether he was dying or not. Like, he was just passionate about that. Yep. And that's, to me, that was another level of commitment that, or an example of how we need to follow Jesus and not have all these excuses of why we don't or why we can't. Like, a guy was dying in the freezing cold water. Like, what's my excuse, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I had to think through that a little bit. So that's kind of what changed my perspective on that, which is really good.
Yep.
Dave, I see here your understanding of following Jesus has changed over the years, and the message was a fantastic reminder. Definitely.
Yep.
And I love how it changes. Like, it's not always the same. It always changes, and hopefully for the better of understanding how, we need to reach those people that don't know him.
Yep.
It's very good. I love hearing your perspective for sure. So let us know in the chat there. Just seeing all you guys on there is so exciting. Number 3 is think about when you first started following Jesus. Can you see specific ways your focus has evolved from yourself to those who are lost? If so, what are they?
That is a good question. That's a deep question.
Yes.
Yeah, growing up always, was at church, attending church, but I found myself not having a real practical relationship or putting things into practice at a younger age. It wasn't till somewhere between 10-ish, maybe 11 years ago, when I actually really did accept Jesus into my life. And it was through the encouragement of my wife and the people, of course, that I met at LifeNorth.Church, encouraging me to take that next step. So previous to that, years before, even before I was married, I found myself just living in the culture that was around me. And so, going out, buying stuff, consumerism, that kind of thing. I found myself very in deep with that, and not finding myself to having a lot of spiritual resistance in any areas, because I wasn't doing anything to push God's kingdom further forward. And so after being saved and having that relationship with Jesus start and build, I did find myself running into more resistance as Satan was trying to slow me down or stop me from actually accomplishing things for God. Whereas before I hadn't. And so I knew I was on the right path, knew I was on the right direction of what I needed to be doing, because that resistance was there. And knowing that was there, that going the right direction certainly changed things. And it certainly allowed me to really push things further forward for God over where I was well before that.
Wow. That is excellent to have that self-awareness of, I was on the right track when you felt the heat.
Exactly.
That's so true. If we're not feeling the resistance or getting that target on our back, we kind of wonder, are we following Jesus fully, or have we turned off the wrong exit? And to feel that heat, we know that the devil is really trying to discourage us. And so, what a powerful perspective to have on that. I think mine is very similar. I think just knowing that the reason why I got saved is because someone went out of their comfort zone to share the gospel with me. So, when you think of yourself and it's all about me, you're not thinking about the other people that are lost, right? So I think putting myself out of my own, almost like an out of body experience, but not quite like that. But just thinking like, if this was me, would I, if they never shared the gospel with me, where would I be now? So just, having that experience and wrestling with that, and definitely feeling that heat, knowing that I'm on the right track. That's really powerful. I love that.
It is. And I'm sure, a lot of people also have similar stories of that. And certainly leave them in the comments. We can certainly see the comments. And if you've got a powerful story, please share it. We'd love to hear your story. Yes. For sure.
Yeah, so we have a couple minutes left, but we're just going to quickly touch on this last question because it's one of the most important questions ever. Last one. How could you share Jesus with someone who is lost this week? What would that look like?
Again, I think it kind of touches on what you said there, Justy, about stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think we overcomplicate things a bit, overthink it, and find ourselves stumbling over ourselves to actually putting in roadblocks so we don't take that step. So I think it would just be looking at being bold, take a step, and not worry about what they're going to think, what they're going to, maybe think of what you're saying, because it's all about sharing your story and, being proud about sharing your story and how powerful those stories can be. And so I think just describing your story, and this is how it happened to me, this is what changed in me, I think is super powerful. And to me, I think it's the best way to certainly deliver that message, that gospel this week. So yeah. I think that for me, that's how it's going to look like this week, is just taking a step further forward.
I love what you said about not overcomplicating it, that it's never as bad as we make it seem. Like, it's not as complicated as we build it up to be. Like, it really is simple. It's sharing our story. It's knowing, actually it's not knowing, but having the confidence that Jesus is already doing a work in their heart that we don't even know about. Yep. That they could be softened already, and they are ready to hear about Jesus and who he is. And if we short circuit that, where would their life be headed, right? So yeah, taking that step and being extra bold this week, not doubting how God is going to use us, but praying that God would speak through us, and yeah, just love them regardless of what they believe, but know that our story, that like they can't argue with our story, right? It's what we experience with Jesus. So that's the most powerful thing, is our own experience with him. Yep. So
I just want to touch on Eva's comment here that she shared the gospel with someone last night that didn't know Jesus. That's awesome.
Oh, yay!
That is awesome. That is taking a massive step, and that person's, future could be completely different now that they've heard that. That could be the door to open to the next step.
Yes, that is so awesome. Good.
Awesome. Well, as we have to wrap it up, as our time has come to an end, if you guys are looking for more information, there are links in the chat, so check them out. And of course, our Sunday messages are always on YouTube, like every 90 minutes. So you can check us out there. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You will get the notifications. Things are coming up, what's being posted. That, of course, is at LifeNorth.Church on YouTube. And again, if you guys want to dig deeper, more into these questions, maybe have some different views, different opinions, different ideas about the questions, our life groups are the place to do that. There's certainly one out there for you guys. So if you want information, let us know. Check them out. There are a bunch. And of course, invite somebody else to check us out here on live on Wednesdays at 5:40. So check us out. We will be back here next week again, and we'll have a blast, as we always do.
Sounds good.
As we always sign off, whoever finds God
finds life. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.